These issues that have destroyed my life. Well, my friend, I have the answer. Bible Way Hibner Memorial Church of God in Christ presents Chain Breakers, this and every Sunday at 9 a.m. here on WHYL.
From the L.B. Smith Ford Lincoln Studios, Oldies 102.9 is WHYL Carlisle.
It's time now for the Real Estate Radio Guy with real estate broker John Rainville. For the next hour, you'll learn everything about national real estate topics, trends, and news revolving around Central PA. It's sponsored by GSF Mortgage Corporation, EnviroQuest Inspections, and SearchHomesInPA.com. And now, here's the Real Estate Radio Guy, John Rainville.
Good morning. Hey, it's a sweltering day in Central PA. What do you think there, Kingsley?
A little muggy.
Yeah. Hey, we got to give a special shout out to Clyde at Speedway Auto for fixing Big Dog Productions' ride. So he feels like a 16-year-old now because he's back on the road at 67.
Nice. What did you do? Get some like special spinners put on, and did you get it lowered?
Next week. Now, they did offer to help him get his Z out of the garage and get that running.
Ooh.
So, hey, folks, we have an exciting show today. We've got some really good topics for you. You know, WTF, why isn't my home selling here in the summer? You know, we're hearing the market's great. Things are moving, and yet a lot of consumers are calling us. And
the market's great.
Market's great.
I mean, it's at this point, it's what, under 3 weeks? For a decently
absolutely
priced house, and over the tips we'll go over.
Yep.
But I've got a couple pre-qualified clients. They're like, I was looking at a home and it's already under pending.
It's already gone.
Yeah.
But there's still some homes that are sitting on the market. They're languishing, and we're going to be talking about those and reasons why that may be happening. We're also going to give you some solutions to some of that, and we're going to give you some tips to help get your home sold here in the hot days, dog days of summer, as we're getting into, late July and August. John Staz is going to be coming on, and he's going to be talking about sump pumps and why you may want to have a battery backup. You
mean like, with the rain we had last night or the night before when I woke up?
Big Dog told me he had a heck of a storm at his house last night. We got rain over at my house. I'm not that far from you, but we didn't have that. It was a little bit of a hard rain, but nothing, not tremendous like what he had at his house where it was overflowing the gutters and stuff.
Really? Oh, no. It did wake me up, though.
It did?
Oh, yeah. It was loud enough to woke me up. And it came down a lot real fast, but it only lasted, a couple minutes?
Yeah.
And I'm all right with that.
Then, if we have time today, we're going to go to 4 tips, how to increase the value of your home, whether you're looking to sell now or, sometime next year or something. And Kingsley's going to give a mortgage market minute here towards the end of the show. And for all my realtor friends, like I promised you, towards the end of the show, I'm going to give you just a killer way to be able to handle those hostile phone calls when they're coming in and lighting up your phone here in the dog days of summer. And you're going to love it, and it's going to be right at the end of the show.
Hostile phone calls?
Hostile phone calls. When you know that customer that's calling, you see that number come across your phone, and it's a hot potato. You don't want to take it.
Well, don't they have a little thing on your phone these days that automatically handles that? Like, on the very bottom of your phone, you just swipe up and it says, respond with this message. Sorry, I'm out to lunch. Sorry, I'm on vacation for the next 3 weeks.
Eventually, you got to get back to them. Now, this is a way to call them back.
Because that works for my wife, like once a month.
Well, this you might like to have for your wife. If she's angry with you, you can. You got to wait till the end of the show.
All right.
So why don't we start off here with some of the reasons that homes aren't selling here this summer.
Well, you look at the list here, and I think it really comes down to number 3.
Well, but let's go through the list. Just
all right. Well, you want to go in order here. All right.
Well, yeah, let's not go totally ADD on me today.
Okay, all right. So, number 1, You know, my wife and I are in the market, and you know, the first thing that you see when you're online and watching some cheesy TV show at night, and you're scrolling through, you know, whatever your search engine is. You know, most people, I think, jump probably on Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com or Search Homes in PA, and you put in, I'm looking for a home between whatever, 200, 400,000, and it narrows your search down to your parameters. And as you're sitting there scrolling, what's the first thing you see?
Photos.
Yeah. I mean, the front page photo.
Right.
Right? If your front page photo
still has snow in it, it might be a problem.
Still has snow in it, yes. If your front page photo has
fall leaves in
overgrown trees and weeds popping up,
no leaves on the trees, it might be a problem.
It might be a problem, and here's the reason why. What happens when you see that photo? Nothing. You don't click on it. It doesn't intrigue you. It's got to grab your attention. Otherwise, I don't care what the inside looks like, unless the inside is, you know, is your showpiece, which in some cases.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know, you know, that one listing that you have up in the north end of Harrisburg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to have top quality photos.
Oh my God! Well, that one photo of the inside is enough to sell that house. You know, so. But yeah, that first photo. Grabs your attention.
And, you know, that brings up a really interesting point. I was doing some coaching for another realtor. Actually, it was 2 days ago. And he had gotten a listing appointment. And I was saying to him, well, did you pull up the property? Because it's a property that's currently on the market but not selling. Okay. And he pulled it up. And he says, well, why do I want to pull it up? I said, you want to try and see what the other realtor might not be doing. So as soon as we pulled it up, it was a split screen photo. So the realtor tried to get a little bit slick and show the front of the house, which he took the wrong picture of, and then a picture of the inside. So when you went out to a lot of the different websites, you know, Realtor.com, onto the multi-list, it didn't present well because you're looking at it and you're trying to figure out, is there something wrong? Do I have to scroll up? Do I have to scroll down? Why am I only seeing?
So he tried to get fancy, but it backfired.
But definitely backfired. And the house, outstanding. I mean, an outstanding home, stone home here in Central PA that the other realtor is going to end up getting the listing on, and phenomenal. You know, so there wasn't the price, but when everyone's going out there looking at it in the market, you couldn't. As a real estate broker, I was trying to figure out what the heck's going on. So I know the consumers are just flip by it, flip by it, flip by it.
Well, and again, that's really what it is. It's got to grab your attention. And if it looks confusing and you have no idea what the heck's going on, next.
Right. So folks, on the photos, you really want to make sure that they're good quality photos.
Oh, and here's a tip for the realtors.
Right.
Okay? I've seen more and more of these, and I've got realtor friends, you know, from Florida all the way up the East Coast, right? And I find it funny sometimes when they share me some of these listing photos that they've seen. And I don't really care as a consumer to see a selfie of you, the realtor, in the picture in front of the house. I mean, literally like a selfie with the house that's being listed.
Oh, well, here, I'll do a typical realtor pose.
Yeah.
Why is it, folks, that they cross their arms and lean back?
To see the house?
Well, I know. They have that on their business cards, or it used to be with the telephone.
Look, unless you're Shania Twain, I don't really care to see your selfie.
That's right.
Okay?
And then you do see those type of realtor photos also.
Well, you do. But they're on different websites, I think, and they just pretend like they're realtors. Also, when it comes to the photos, and this is, in my opinion, one of the biggest issues today, is what camera you use.
Well, you know, a lot of the realtors just want to use their phones, their iPhone, their Android, and the quality of the phone cameras has gotten tremendous.
It's gotten tremendous.
But it's not like a professional going out there and shooting.
It's not.
It's just not.
But I've still seen people try, you know, to take pictures with the little dinky phones that's got 1 megapixel, or even the flip phone.
Right.
And, the resolution is so horrible. When you see the home in person, you're like, oh, well, it didn't look this good on the photo. And usually it's because it's all gritty, or this one house that we went to look at, it made the brick look like it was drooping, like paint was coming off of it or fading. And when you got there, it was gorgeous. So
a lot of times the agents too don't make the order of the photographs that the agent puts in. He puts them in any willy-nilly order. I instruct any of my agents that I coach to put it in the order, like take a picture of the front. Don't show them the whole outside. Go right to the front door. As soon as you open up that front door, start walking through the home, or for the photographer, so it makes sense. So it's like a walk through the home and then a walk back out through the home, and show them everything, folks. I mean, show them the basement, show them the furnace,
show them the throne.
Yeah, show them the electric box. Show them the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because why waste anyone's time? That's one great thing about this. It saves time.
Now, with that being said, I have seen this done in a great way, where there was literally only 2 photos. Right, of the listing,
and because they think the house is ugly, or
and it was horrible.
That's what the consumers think, and they don't want to see it because you only got the lazy agent put in 2 photographs.
The kitchen was absolutely stunning, so it was done recently, right? And you go into the place, and you're based on the kitchen, you're like, wow, what's the rest of this house going to look like? I'm kind of excited and scared at the same time. We got in there. It was like wallpaper from the 50s and 60s. Like that old yellow, the puke yellow with the older carpet.
Right.
It was nasty. So half of it was done up, which was great, but they were looking for, the retail price on the property.
So I know we're still here on the photographs, and some of the other problems are, and we see, some people use filters to wash your photos. And, I don't agree with that because it makes the house and the photographs really not look right. They shouldn't be retouched either. Somebody shouldn't be photoshopping any of these things. I've seen them where they've been photoshopped online. That's a misrepresentation as far as I'm concerned.
That's a whole other topic, actually. I mean, you could get into,
And you got to watch using, the really wide-angle lenses because, they get into that 530 square foot home. 530 feet is about the size of a 2-car garage, folks, just to give you an idea. And you go there because they use a super wide-angle lens.
Made it look like 800 square feet.
Yeah, 800. 2,000, So that's something else you definitely want to get to. So I know we dwelled a lot there on the photographs.
Whoa. We're not done with photographs.
Oh, we're not doing that?
No, my God. Are you kidding? In today's
we're going to
day
talk
and
about
age?
videos.
Well, yeah, because, one of the services that I know
Jesse does
with Luxury Brokers Realty,
right,
is what they call like a Matterpoint.
Yep, where you can do you can actually do the 3D walkthrough now in the Matterport. You can actually put on the virtual reality.
Really?
Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
You got to try it. It's
I'll
really
have to try
cool.
that.
And you can actually walk through the homes, folks. And Dale Vaughn, a friend of mine, realtor from years ago, I still remember Dale saying, and this was over 20 years ago, that one day he was going to invest in a company that you would be able to sit in the office and walk through the home. And now that day is here, but you don't even have to go to the office. You can do it in the comfort of your own home or right in your car.
So is the company his?
No, he missed the boat.
Is he sitting down in Florida right now listening to us laughing?
He missed the boat.
So yeah, those Matterpoint photos. But you think about this, and as a consumer, when you look at a house that has more photos, you're going to spend more time on that house. And if you're intrigued by the photos, and if you actually get to the point where you're watching this Matterpoint, where you can literally walk through the house as if you're there as a virtual reality type of tour.
How cool is that?
That is so cool. But also at the same time, from a listing realtor's perspective, people that are actually looking at that video and then schedule a viewing for this house,
they're serious.
They're seriously wanting to buy this house, not just tire kickers.
Right.
So there's more than one reason to put this sort of photo online.
And based on that, we are getting fewer showings till we get a contract. But
I think the conversions are probably a little higher if you were to look at the numbers as a whole with those that have those Matterpoint photos. And also, nowadays, you've got the droid photos and the videos, especially for the bigger homes.
Oh, you mean the drones?
The drones.
Yeah, the drones. Yeah.
Droids, drones. Yeah.
Sort of the same.
Yeah. So you get that nice vantage point from 500 feet up to see the whole land, the pool, the whole 9 yards. It's almost like lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Right.
You like to see those vantage points.
Right. And I think, so folks, if your home's languishing on the market, you definitely want to see what your potential buyer's seeing online. Start to look out there, look on the different sites, see what the ad copy is, see what the photos is, see if it makes sense. Can you figure out what room's what? Does it make it look like the kitchen's in the basement? Now, I did tell everybody, I did bait them in that we weren't going to talk about price, but I think also if your home's been languishing on the market for over 120 days now and you have not gotten an offer, what do you think, Kingsley?
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because there's a couple of homes that my wife and I looked at, and we go through, maybe once a week, because we like to go out to some open houses and stuff on Sunday, so she'll usually pick one or two, and we'll go look at them. And every once in a while, that same house pops up. She's like, "Oh my God, this house is still on the market." I said, "Well, yeah, it's about $80,000 overpriced."
Right.
And I like to think, or I would tend to think, that it's not, the realtor being that either delusional, or the fact that they just took the listing because that's what the sellers wanted, or the fact that maybe they know the market's hot and they're like, well, if we get it, great, let's go to Orlando and take our cash winnings, or go to the casino and cash out.
Yeah, that's always good. And so now we're going to move on to number 3. Maybe,
that was fast.
Well, I don't want to beat them. We talked to them a lot of times about
we do.
price.
All right.
So maybe you hired a weak real estate agent, or maybe just a really bad one, or somebody where maybe sometimes they're too busy and they're not giving you the attention you need.
I think it comes down to, in my opinion, you've got the old 80-20 rule, right?
Okay, yeah, good adage.
So 80% of the work gets done by 20% of the realtors.
Yep.
And there's a reason why, because they actually put the extra effort in, they put their extra foot forward, and they actually care about their work.
And they actually maybe spend some money to market your home.
And that's a huge portion of it, too, where it comes into tied back into the photos. If somebody's taking a picture with their flip phone, you hired the wrong realtor. Spend the money, get the professional photos. It really does, without a first impression, there is no impression.
Exactly, because you've got such a limited time online to capture that consumer.
Yeah. And that comes into the marketing aspect of it. Okay, so now that I have the photos, and this is a fair topic if you think about it. If you've got a realtor that's been around for a while, okay, sometimes it's hard to take on new technology, right?
Correct.
So, remember when the old books were out? And that's how you used to get your listings.
That's right.
You've been around for a little while, right? Well, if you're still in the mindset of trying to flip through books or show people magazines when they're looking for homes, you're probably on the dinosaur edge of...
You're probably to, maybe 13% of the market that would still...
You're about extinct,
yeah,
is what it comes down to.
Every day it's getting hot.
And there's always something new coming out, right? So if your realtor is a little unsavvy or uneducated with the new technology that's out, I guarantee you, as a consumer, I'm looking at that cool stuff. So I'm looking at the house with the Matterpoint more so than I am the house with 3 photos.
Oh, yeah, and sometimes with that Matterport, with the 3D walkthrough, sometimes I'll walk through them 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
because I can do it online.
Direction.
And, and I'll look up at the floor, look at the ceiling, see how much stuff I can see.
It's pretty cool stuff.
It is really cool technology.
But that really does come down to the realtor.
Yeah.
I mean,
the realtor, are they willing to do an open house? That's something we're going to be coming up to here in the topics. I mean, are they pushing it out there online? And folks, when you have your home in the market and it's languished, you as the seller, you can call another realtor to come in and give you a second opinion. The other realtor isn't supposed to be calling you for that second opinion, but you're allowed to call them and ask them to come out.
Really?
Yep.
Are you sure you're not stepping on toes there?
Nope. Not if so the consumer's unhappy.
While it's in the middle of the listing?
Yep.
Okay, so what happens if the consumer's unhappy? Another realtor comes out and he's a great salesperson and obviously shows you as a listing person, the seller,
that you made a mistake,
that you're missing out on all this other technology.
Well, you have to instruct them that you can take the listing over the very next day after it expires. But until then, until they are disengaged with that realtor, that being ethical.
I was going to say, now you're getting into kind of like I don't know, just like a tedious, because you can technically, as a seller, request that you cancel. But if you called another realtor out, I wouldn't want to be in that position. Just to say,
oh no, that goes on all the time. Trust me.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah, all the time. They're always calling, having somebody else come out because they're not happy. Yes.
And do they actually get out of contracts, or do they wait till the contract ends?
No, I've seen both.
Really?
I've seen both. We've already gone out on appointments, and like right now it's the middle of August, and their contract ends at the end of the month, and we have a listing agreement in place for August 1st. So now we can't. Yeah, we shouldn't be telling them to go ahead and cancel or instructing them how to do that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You kind of get into that. The other realtor's going to call you and gripe, and that's another hostile phone call apparently.
Right. Then at the end of the show, we're going to be talking.
Yes. Hostile phone calls coming up.
So let's move on to the open house. A lot of sellers right now are focused on the open house. I think that's the be all and the end all. And yeah, I coach my agents, and we use open houses very successfully, usually to get high amounts of traffic through. It is certain price ranges the people you don't see open houses in, like in the really expensive homes. A lot of times people don't want them done.
Well, I like to go look at them.
Yeah, I like
that $4 million house sitting down the road. I'd love to have an open house and kind of walk through. Yeah, I would look good in it for like 2 days. All I could afford the mortgage for. But
some people feel that the open houses are still more of just an avenue for an agent to pick up more buyers,
or to just satisfy the seller.
Right, and that's the thing is, did your agent do a good job on the open house? Did they go out on Monday, the week before, and get all the signs up leading in there, putting up open house signs, telling everybody it's coming? Did they run ads on the internet? Did they set it up for success? Did they show up 15 minutes late for their own open house, or were they there early to make sure all the lights were on, the house was looking its best?
And therein lies the issue, in my opinion, is unless you do an open house 1,000%, right? Because the old open houses, all you had to do is stick a couple balloons out there, a couple open house signs, and you'd sit in the house as a realtor and expect 20, 30 people to come through on a beautiful home that's price correct, right?
Right.
Well, now, as a kind of a catch-22, if you've got a good realtor that's using the technology that's available to him, he's using professional photos and Matterpoint and drone, droid, whatever photos, I don't necessarily think I need to go look at that house now. I've seen enough of it.
They may roll it in or roll it out.
Right. So I've gotten to the point where I've looked at it intently.
Right.
I've seen it inside and out. It does not interest me whatsoever.
Yep. So why waste anyone's time to go look at? Why waste the agent's time?
But on the flip side, if you do the open house correctly and you have all of this online, chances are the people that are coming out to look at it probably have some interest and they want to see it in person.
Absolutely.
So the open house is still a necessary evil, in my opinion. Because in that particular point, at least from a listing agent's point of view, it's certainly a way to get buyers, but you're getting less tire kicker buyers.
Well, and you are hitting that section of the market, that 13% they say still aren't online. Okay, so that maybe they see that open house on the weekend and they they will stop in because they see it. They didn't realize it was for sale for whatever reason. But as long as the agent's, putting signs out, several different intersections, trying to direct them in, I think there's still some people that are old school. Not that many, maybe, but some.
Yeah, because I'm still getting phone calls from my mom. On what happened to my computer. Barely uses the internet, which is probably a good thing. But she's starting to learn, the internet, and now I can see where that 13% comes from.
Yeah.
So all right, that makes sense.
So the next reason we're going to hit number 5 is, if your house doesn't put the best foot forward, that could be a reason it's not selling. I mean, you need to look at your home like the consumer does. Pull up, park out at the curb, and start looking at your home. Walk up to it. Because most people end up driving into their driveways, and that's their view of the home. Start out at the curb, walk up, walk all the way around your house. See if there's anything that you can see that would turn you off. I mean, do you have moss growing on the siding? Do you have shingles missing? Do you have a multicolored roof that's not supposed to be? Do you have any obvious repairs that are needed?
So a tarp with tires holding it down on the roof would not be a good thing?
Certain counties, that's acceptable. Take a walk through your house like you're the buyer. Do you know what I mean? Because, so you get into the bathroom and you've got moldy tile, or you've got that black grunge around the,
that's just,
and the caulking around the tub and the
just making sure you clean.
Right, because that's
not even, we're not even getting
clean.
into decluttering or anything to that effect. We're just talking about cleaning your house.
Right, making sure it's as clean as possible, because they're comparing your home to somebody else who has their home staged, looking bright and fresh, and if your home's sitting on the market, you got to be honest.
Well, and the problem is when somebody does come to an open house, especially the 13% that aren't online,
right?
They're coming in to envision.
You like that statistic, though.
I do. I'm going to hold on to that 13%. But they're coming in to envision themselves living in it.
Absolutely.
And if they walk in and it smells like.
Wait, you're getting ahead of us.
I know.
Okay, go ahead. That comes under personalization.
Well, but you walk in and it smells, right? And the walls, a picture frame fell down, right? And the wall itself is brown, except where that picture frame was, where it was the original color of the wallpaper because somebody smoked in it for 50 years.
Or the picture frame has glass in it and it's broken because it looks like your wife threw a can of soup at you.
Right. I mean, these are little things that really do go a long way. I'm not going to be like, ugh, God.
But you're right. Cleaning it up. Does a room need a fresh coat of paint? Come on. It may just be a few $100s that's stopping your home from selling.
Shag carpet from the 70s. If it's still there, it might be time to call, Home Depot down the street. I mean, there's plenty of deals. Cheap. Yeah, it's cheap. There's free installation deals all over the place. It makes a big difference.
Personalization. Sometimes they say the home's too personalized. And I mean, I have seen that. I've been in homes already where maybe they have a lot of religious photographs. We're not, artwork. I've actually seen it out in the yard. That may turn off a potential buyer who may not be that religious or may be of another religion, and you could actually lose a buyer because of that. What do you see when you're going out there from the consumer end, as far as over personalization?
There was one particular house that I remember looking at when we went out looking at homes. And the home was a very nice home.
Right.
Okay? The outside had the curb appeal. Ooh, let's go in.
Right.
Right? You walked inside, and the house was cared for.
Okay.
Okay, so it was clean. We got the step 2. Right. And the kitchen was nice. There were some updates to it. And then you walked in, and the house was like walking into a desert. Right?
What do you mean, color-wise? Are we talking, it was that dry?
No. It was literally like walking into a desert where
Had sand on the floor?
got like
you got to tell me now.
tumbleweeds, cacti. The wall was
I've seen that.
painted like all these funky colors.
Were you wearing chaps?
I had to get out of there. I mean, I had to hightail it out of there on a horse. It was like, wow. And this, I mean, it was so personalized. And it was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to. The first thing I thought of was not, this is a beautiful home. The first thing I thought of with that was, man, I'm going to have to paint. I'm going to have to tear this down. Oh, my God, that wallpaper's got to come off. And everybody knows how horrible taking wallpaper down is.
Right. A lot of times people, from the realtor side, they seem to get offended because they think we're talking, sometimes about like their personal photos and that. What we do in my house is second floor hallway. That's the Hall of Shame. That's where all the family photos go.
Nice.
You like that Hall of Shame?
I like the Hall of Shame.
Hall of Shame.
Hall of Shame.
Hall of Shame. You get hung in the Hall of Shame, it's pretty bad.
Actually, my in-laws have a wall of shame, right?
Oh, they have a wall of shame.
They have a wall of shame.
Like a memorial.
Yeah. And
candles lit.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of people do this as well. Like if your picture's not up, the one time you go in, you're on you're canned at this point. You're on the crap list. Yeah, you're on the list, right? And then the next time you go in and you're back up, you're like, oh, whew, all right, I'm good. I'm good this holiday. And then here's another one, right? Here you go. And this one always comes to mind when I'm looking at over-personalization. Remember that?
I love Chucky.
No, that's not Chucky. Come on.
Wait, who is that?
No. Remember that doll? Come on, people. All right, anybody that's been a Seinfeld fan.
Oh, I thought that was Chucky.
Okay. That was the doll collection that George's wife had. And that doll looked just like his mother.
Oh, yeah,
the creepy doll. So every time he went to bed, he thought he was going to bed with his mother hanging on the wall. That's over-personalization.
We're getting a lot of things here off of, the internet from Facebook here. People want us to talk a little bit about smells. So, let's talk about smells. Let me give you some of my input. If you're going to look at a foreclosure, they all smell the same. Horrible.
Yes.
Pet odor.
Yes.
A lot of people get acclimated to their home, and they don't realize that it smells like a kitty litter box
or cat or dog.
Or dog.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows
weasel,
that wet dog smell.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible.
And you smell that when you walk into someone else's home.
Especially on a hot day.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Especially on a hot
But you
day.
don't smell it when you walk in your own home. You're used to it, right?
You're used to
That's
it.
you.
Yeah.
So
it's sort of like the highway noise when you're in the backyard of your house. You don't hear it after a while.
Right. So, and another thing is, and I guess you can get used to this too, but we walked into a house, gorgeous upstairs. They redid it. They even added on this beautiful, huge media room.
Right.
And as soon as you walk in, though, you smell this musty smell.
Oh, yeah, especially in a basement.
From the basement.
Folks, that's going to be a tip here for me. I'm going to throw this in as an extra value add today. So if you've got a musty basement, it may be time to go ahead and paint it. Paint the floor, seal that smell in, get it so at least it smells fresh.
And have a dehumidifier running nonstop and dripping. Because, if you've got any moisture down there, if I walk in, I'm going to smell it, I'm going to feel it.
Another thing is cooking smells. I've been in homes where, because of their ethnicity, there's certain things that they cook, and that can be a big turnoff.
It can be.
It can be.
Now, on the flip side, you go into those new builds, and they're all baking cookies in the oven.
Right. But if it smells like dead fish heads, that's bad. Okay, so we're going to number 7. What's number 7 on our list?
Not being flexible with showings.
Ooh, yeah, right now you can't be because you're getting fewer showings, folks. Okay, so when that person wants to see it, it can't be, it's just not convenient. You need to make it convenient. If you're serious about selling, You got to let them.
And we're not
in the
talking
door.
about open houses. We're talking about people that actually called specifically to see your home in person on their own time.
Right.
So that is an interested buyer.
Yeah, and they may be wanting to come at 7 o'clock, and that may be your normal dinner time. Hey, guess what, Dad? Take them out to dinner. Take them out to dinner. Make it a treat for Mom so she'll let you get the house shown and get them out the door.
I foresee, when my wife and I go to sell my home, that's going to be an issue.
Are you going to be eating out a lot?
No. The fact that she's not going to want to show the home at 7 o'clock. Jeopardy's on.
Oh, well, I think you can get that on your phone.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
That's good.
So, yeah, you want to make it easy to show. We consider those times to be from about 9 o'clock in the morning at least till about 8 o'clock at night. That's when people – look, folks, they've got to have a job. Most of them have a job. So they're taking their spare time to come and look at your home. So you've got to open up the doors so they can see what it's all about.
Yeah, and keep in mind, these people that want to see your home, assuming your realtor did his job and used the technology that's available to him, right? Coming back, this is not just any Joe Blow,
right?
You would think,
It's a
wanting to see your
serious person.
home. This is somebody that looked at your home, looked at your photos. If you've got, Matterpoint, you've got a realtor that's, that does that, which, nowadays you might want to start thinking about that. You've got a serious potential buyer.
That's right.
Let them into your house. Cook them dinner.
Okay, so number 8, you make the listing agent accompany the showings. That can be the kiss of death, too, because now you've got 2 realtors and a buyer trying to coordinate their schedule. Really, folks, in my opinion, unless the home has a lot that the normal agent will not see, or a good agent will not be able to tell them that you've got the laundry chute. They're not going to recognize what a wet bar is. They're not going to be able to point out the jacuzzi. They weren't with the right real estate agent, but you may not need the other agent to be there, so you may lose a showing.
I don't think you need the other agent to be there. Unless we're talking about, a $4 or $5 million home, and you've got priceless artwork on the walls, and
yeah, even then, but they can tell them some things about the home that the average. You have to realize the average agent shows up to show the house, and that's the first time they're looking at the multi-list sheet. And now these aren't in the top 20% of realtors, but some of them, I've seen them already. I've been there where I'm also showing the house because, it's a vacant home and it's wide open, and they don't know what type of heat it is. They don't even know what school district it's in. They didn't even read anything or do any prep work before they came out to show the home. They just thought they were going to open up the door and write a sale. So make your home available. Number 9 is market timing. Right now we're still in a good part of the market. People are still trying to get in before school. We're really in our last couple of weeks if they're going to do that. Because how fast can you close a loan right now, Kingsley? If they're pre-approved with you right now, how fast can we close a loan with you?
Well, you can get them done in 3 weeks.
3 weeks. So basically, somebody wants to be in before September 1 now. We're down to the last 2 or 3 weeks of time in order to get. So they need to get out there and buy a home.
You need to buy a home. I mean, and the average is 30 days. Barring any weird kind of special circumstances on the bar. If it's something, you had a rush, it certainly could be done in 3 weeks. And obviously now I think most buyers or parents, if you will, are saying, look, my school year is starting in a month, right?
Yeah,
month and a half.
A lot of them start, the third week of August anymore.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right, so now we're down to like a week to get you in a home.
Yeah, well, to find a home.
Right, so you better be calling somebody this weekend.
Right, so I would start looking at 50 homes this week, finding your home, and getting the offer in so we can get you closed. But yeah, I mean, for those that still need to get in, I would imagine they've already been looking, and of course we all know that the inventory is a little light.
Right.
So you might want to get out there, look. put the offer in, and let's get the ball rolling.
And I'm just going to side note on that. Really, you can look at FSBOs for sale by owner with your realtor. Your realtor can represent you to buy a for sale by owner. So maybe you found something on Craigslist. You don't have to. If you're in a buyer's agency, you should be calling your realtor to set up the showing on that and negotiating their commission or fee into that, and then going from there.
Yeah, they're still representing you. I mean, that's their job.
All right, so our last one, number 10, is you could have the dreaded effect of having all mixture of that, all those things that we were just talking about. So, folks, this weekend, if your house is languishing on the market, walk through it from the curb in and be honest with yourself. Grab a neighbor. If you can't be honest with yourself, grab a neighbor and say, Sally, come over and look at my home.
Well, and I think, honestly, I'm going to come back to what we started with on this particular topic, is I think it really does come down to your realtor, because your realtor is the maestro of all of these things, right? So when I walk in or you walk in and you look at this person's home, a good realtor is not going to fluff you as far as what's going on with your home. They're going to be able to, in a very tactful way, without offending you, explain what we just did as far as what
some people still don't want to hear it. You tell them, look, your house stinks. It's cluttered. You got to empty out the garage.
Good realtor's going to tell you that.
Yeah, I know, but then they like to sometimes, in these hot days of summer, call the realtor on a hot day and bark back at him as to what, you're not doing anything to sell my house. And remember, folks, at the end of the show, I'm going to be giving you that hot tip.
Right, but a good realtor is going to tell them this up front so that barking is minimalized, right?
Correct.
Now, and also, and for future reference, we do have a show coming up where a realtor and or a seller can enlist the services of a good house stager. And a lot of this comes into the personalization of the home. And, for example, if a good realtor comes in and says, hey, Bob, your house stinks, and you seem offended,
right? Sometimes
a house stager is a good idea to come in and give a second opinion, because they don't care. They're just coming in to say, hey, look, this is what your house is. This is what we need to do to sell it. Your house stinks.
Hey, big dog's waving.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
So does that mean someone's at the door?
Yeah, I think so. Mr. Staz, how are you doing today?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's a hot and sticky one out there.
So let's go look at 50 houses tomorrow.
Let's do it.
Kingsley's up for it.
I'm up for it. Let's go. I'll put it in one of those little map things. We'll just walk from one door to the next. We'll hit them all up in Camp Hill, one city in one day.
Sounds good.
So what's going on in your neck of the woods, John?
So we're going to talk about sumps today, sump pumps and sump setups.
And that's a good thing, because I don't think I quite fully understand a sump pump.
So we've got some experience with them, both doing home inspections and with the installation of radon systems. A lot of times we have to seal them up. So got some opinions. So basically what a sump pump is for is twofold. A lot of the newer homes will have drain tile installed around the inside of the foundation, around the outside. And they lead into a sump. So when you get these heavy downpours, or if you get water coming up under the slab, the sump and the drain tile system, it's designed for the water to get into that sump before it comes up into the basement, where it can cause damage, elevated moisture levels. The other way that a sump can work is for surface water. Let's say water that's actually already on the floor of your basement running across the floor. So there's a drain or an opening in the top of the sump. So that water that's running across the surface will get into the sump before it can build up, a couple inches of water. The sump will pump that water out. So what we've found is the most important, or one of the most important factors for the sump, are having a proper sump crock. It's also the most labor-intensive part of installing a sump. Is to get a proper size crock, you need to dig a bigger hole, a deeper hole, and by doing that, you're allowing for enough room for the proper equipment, like let's say the actual sump pump or the backup pump. One of the things that we recommend for people that are like finishing your basement, so you're investing a lot of money to put carpet and drywall and other furnishings in your basement, you want to protect that investment by installing a proper sump, crock, and a sump pump, and getting a battery backup system. Now, the reason that that's important is when we get the storms, hurricanes, heavy rainfall events, a lot of times electricity goes out. So hence the importance of a battery backup system.
So, one of the sump pumps, I guess, or when people put a retro sump pump in, I'm assuming that's why you see on the outside of the walls like that trench that's built along the concrete floor. Is that part of the whole sump pump system?
Yeah, that's called a floating slab. Now, one of the main reasons the builders will do that floating slab system is in an effort to allow for expansion and contraction of that slab. So by having that gap at the wall floor joint, it reduces cracking in the slab. Now, some places building codes don't allow that because what happens when we install a radon system, we need to seal that up. So, the homeowner spends money to have that put in by the builder, and then the radon mitigator comes in and seals that up because what happens is by having that gap that goes down to stone or the dirt under the slab, the radon system doesn't work properly. You can't build up enough vacuum to get out the radon, so we end up sealing that up. So
now, I always pictured, the way those trenches were built was because they anticipated the walls to seep a lot of water in heavy rains. So I'm picturing like water just kind of seeping out of the walls and into that trench and then eventually down into a sump pump system.
John, how expensive is it to add a battery backup system? Is that something the average homeowner can do, or is that something they need to have an electrician come in and do?
Yeah, I guess a plumber, $1,000, a couple thousand, depending on the bells and whistles you get with it. So a lot of times at the same time as they do that, they'll install a better quality sump pump and an auxiliary sump pump, which is like a small backup pump. So if the volume of water that's coming in there is too much for the pump to handle, you have that auxiliary pump that's like set up high in the sump crock to get so in a heavy water event, both pumps would be working.
But if we're just the average homeowner and we want to add a battery backup to our current sump pump, what's that run? What do you think? A couple $100?
Yeah.
Now again,
probably.
Something like that. We need to have
something like that.
Okay. Big Dog was getting worried because he's not spending a couple thousand.
So what about homes that don't have a sump pump in them? You've got an older basement, and I'm thinking about maybe doing some expansion or I want to maybe renovate the basement to make it usable. But I've had some water issues, either through seeping in the walls or up through the groundwater. Can you retro a sump pump in?
Sure. Like I said, the most expensive or the most labor-intensive part about it is if you're getting a full-size sump crock is the labor of digging out all that dirt, so the sump crock will go down 2.5, 3 feet down. You can, in my rental properties, I've actually used a 5-gallon bucket and just, put a 5-gallon bucket, which, we dig a hole, take out the dirt or the rock or whatever, put a 5-gallon bucket in there. Now, the other important thing is the smaller the sump the sump crock that you're using, the more important it is to have the right type of pump. So I always recommend one that's called a mercury float, I believe it's called. And what that means is the activation for the sump is the float, and on a mercury float that the float goes straight up and down on a rod, so that there's no chance that it'll catch on the outside of the crock. Kind of hard to picture, but I've seen sumps fail because they have a bigger pump with a float that's crammed into a little crock, and then that float gets caught on something, and then the sump fails to activate when it's needed.
Well, it sounds like there's actually a little more to the sump pump than meets the eye. So if we need somebody to come out and kind of give them a little bit of direction as far as what they may need, and they want to give you a call, obviously, what's the best number to contact you at to say, hey, John, I'm not really sure what I need, but I need your help?
Sure. It's 717-233-6144.
And you're online as well?
evqharrisburg.com.
As well as on Facebook. So I've learned something today.
I did too.
And as always, we've got John Staz on from EnviroQuest. And thanks for coming on today, as usual. And we'll catch Waldo next week.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you. Have a great week.
You do the same.
All right, so I know we're getting towards the end of the show, so I know we told them we were going to give them, 10 things to do to help them get their home sold, and this actually comes from a buddy of mine, Kyle Hissick, up in Rochester, New York, and so we're going to give these sort of quick because Kingsley and I have some other things we want to talk to you about. So one's prepare the exterior of the home for the summer. So get all your dead fall leaves out of the yard.
Put some mulch out there.
Put some mulch out.
Give it a
Make
little
it look pretty.
A half attempt at beautifying the yard.
If you've got an outdoor space, like a deck or a patio, dress it out. Make it look like you're, living large out there.
Tiki torches, have the grill going.
Absolutely. Put the umbrella up, make it look like you're using it. If you're getting one of those twilight time showings, have it set up like you were out there. Have the candles going. And
again, envision the people walk in, envisioning living there.
It's like theater, folks. You got to set the stage. Any repairs, like I think we talked about that earlier, you got to take care of the repairs. So if your driveway's heaving, take care of it. Another thing we run into as realtors is we'll go to show a home. Sometimes they're vacant, sometimes they're not. And the people turn off the air conditioning during the day while they're at work. And you go to walk in there, and it's a sweltering day. It's 87 degrees out, and you walk inside, and now it's sweltering in there, and you smell the pet odor. So keep it cool. Put it, if you're having a showing, have it a couple extra degrees down so when those people hit, they go, oh, it feels good in here.
Plug-in or two doesn't hurt either.
And then, yeah, that's true. And then number 5, declutter your home. I mean, my home's cluttered, trust me, but my home's very well lived in. We are starting to declutter it.
I know you love your dog collection, but, 500 of them in the living room is just not going to cut it.
Number 6 from Kyle is stage the home to reflect the summer season. So you've got a pool, make it look like you're using it. You may not. You may be at a different stage in life where the kids are out of there and you're not, but make it look like you're having a staycation every day there at your house.
Take the Christmas lights down.
That's a really good one. Make sure you hire a Top Gun realtor or get that second opinion. Strongly, consider getting a pre-listing inspection from somebody like John Staz from EnviroQuest.
Yeah.
Price the home right from the beginning. Listen, folks, stop.
Listen to your realtor.
Listen to your realtor. They do know what they're talking about. Realize they work on commission. They're not trying to undersell your home. Every dime it sells for, they make more money. Go ahead. And the number 10 is get ready for the showings. Make sure your home's set up. Make sure your toilet lids are closed. Make sure your bathroom's clean. Don't make it look like it's a really sharp-looking model home. I mean, if you have to, shove stuff into the washer, the dryer, and into the oven, when they're coming. The dishwasher also holds a whole bunch, doesn't it, Kingsley?
It does.
It does. But, yeah, don't have dishes stacked in the sink. No. So let's move on to your mortgage market minute, whatever you want to talk to them here about in the financial end.
Well, this week I think a lot of people were afraid as far as, are we online? I think a lot of people were afraid of, what was going to happen with the feds and meetings and all the rest of that. And there was a slight uptick as far as the...
Al, there's nothing coming.
I heard that. I don't hear mine.
His mic?
They're on. So, Mortgage Market Minute. So the market has actually slightly ticked back down over the next couple of days. So if you're looking to lock your loans in and your interest rates in, right now, yesterday, today, actually, we have the ability to do that. Monday, Tuesday would be a great day to do that as well. Keep an eye on the market. Just keep an eye on the market. Have your loan officer, your mortgage specialist, keep an eye on the market. Let's not miss out on the rates now and get stuck with a high mortgage. As always.
No. I had to give them their tip.
Well, hold on.
I thought you were going to close this out.
No, I'm not closing this out. We got 2 minutes. Go to pagoloan.com. And also, we've got a new pavaloan.com. We've got a lot of specials for heroes, which we're going to talk about. And we actually have a great program coming up right now in conjunction with brokersrealty.com that can save you thousands. So get some information on that for our teachers and our VAs.
And remember, we're still giving away packages of 4 tickets to veterans, first responders, to the 9/10 Barnstormers game in Lancaster, courtesy of Jesse Storm and the Storm team of
Hit us up on Facebook for that.
Hit us up on Facebook if you'd like some. So real quick, guys, here's my tip. So write this down if you're a realtor, because I'm not going to give it to you a second time. There's a number called Slide Dial. Slide Dial will let you call the phone number and then put in the person's cell phone number, and it won't let them answer their phone. It will actually put you right into their voicemail. So you get that hostile call, you can call them right back through Slide Dial and go right into their voicemail if you're trying to avoid that phone-to-phone argument or yelling at you.
That's a great
Here's
tip.
the number, 267-759-3425. It's not a product that I own yet. Again, that number for Slide Dial is 267-759-3425. And don't be slide dialing me today, because I will track you
I've used
down.
it. It's a great product. It really is. Great show today. Thanks for listening. As always, real questions?
Real answers. Real people.
There we go. Real answers.
Yeah.
Until next
get
week.
that straight. So next week, remember to get your real estate on.
Thanks, guys.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Radio Guy with real estate broker John Rainville. Listen each week at this time and learn all about buying and selling, mortgages, market conditions, property maintenance, and much more. It's brought to you by GSF Mortgage Corporation, EnviroQuest Inspections, and SearchHomesInPA.com. It's the Real Estate Radio Guy, Saturday mornings at 8 on Oldies 102.9 and AM 960 WHYL.
From the L.B. Smith Ford Lincoln Studios, Oldies 102.9 is WHYL Carlisle. The one and only Morning Sunshine on Oldies 102.9 WHYL.
Aubrey was her name, a not so very ordinary girl or name, but who's to blame for a love that wouldn't bloom, for the hearts that never played in tune, like a lovely melody that everyone can sing. Take away the words that rhyme, it doesn't mean a thing. And Aubrey was her name. We tripped the light and danced together to the moon. But where was June? No, it never came around. If it did, it never made a sound. Maybe I was absent or was listening too fast. catching all the words, but then the meaning going past. But God, I miss the girl